All right. So, for people who have asked how to assemble these Deadpool inspired shin guards, I'll show you how to do it. So I've got one side here. This is basically what you'll need to assemble everything. For the first part, you've got the toe guard, and the toe guard uses these. Basically, you take these little piece of nylon webbing, and you can use an X-Acto to punch the holes, but I actually use a hole punch to make it a little bit easier. And just pop that through there. And then once I pop that through there, I can take the screws these are the little Chicago screws, pop them inside. And take this guy here and take the back of it, basically thread it through here, just like that. And you'll screw it on there. And this is so it goes through the laces on your boots. You can also not use the webbing and just actually take the screws and put holes in your boots, but I mean that's entirely up to however you want to do it. And kind of see how it goes there, and underneath you can put the lace. I didn't trim these beforehand, but you trim the excess so it doesn't hang out, just looks tacky. And then I take a lighter, and normally I would do it outside of the part, but I'm going to do it here because that's what I have. And we just clean up the edges of it so it doesn't fray at all. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do it. And basically rinse and repeat for the other side. So we'll set that aside now. For the shins themselves, you've got your raw shins here. You can. When I do it, I put them together and then paint and weather them. And so I'm going to do it the exactly same way I do it here. What I do is I'll take the Velcro that's here, that's included, and that's sticky Velcro. So you can use the sticky side, it's pretty good. I like to put down epoxy or super glue. So I'm going to just go ahead and put down some super glue on this one because I like it to be extra heavy duty. And also be careful because super glue obviously is sticky. You don't want to glue your fingers together. Take off the protective cover of it, and then you want to line it up with the edge. So it's like right as close as you get on the edge there. And then basically push that in there for the adhesive to work. And then trim any excess that you have left over. And if you got any super glue hanging, go ahead and clean that up. Basically, then you're going to do the same thing for the other side here. And I like to put the soft side of the Velcro that's facing people's suits, so that way you don't have that the rough Velcro hitting your suit, potentially wearing down anything if it's rubbing, and you don't want to wear your suit down or your fabric. And basically do the same thing here. Make sure it's in there. There you go. So then you've got your one side of your Velcro on your front piece, and we're going to do the same thing to the back. And I use CA glue, Bob Smith, which is basically, it's pretty much just super glue for these. Epoxy, 5-minute epoxy works really good too. And these are already cut so they're the right length, so you just line them up. Make sure it's lined up as parallel as possible to the edge of that you can. Okay, and we're going to do the same side, same thing the other side here. Go ahead and put it here. Okay, so once those are done, you have the other side of the Velcro. And there's a couple ways you can do this. If you have the elastic that comes with it, what you would do is you would take this elastic and you would put it on each side of the elastic and then sew it together. Use adhesive, sew it together to give you that kind of flex. Some people like to just use the Velcro so it's nice and tight, which means you can take the Velcro and just slide it on here like that. You've got the zipper right here that goes on here. So basically, once you get that going, you just take the zipper, line it up, because it's already got the correct Velcro on there. And then you line up the other side. Like that. And then you take your Velcro here. And like I said, if you have the elastic, you can have the elastic if you want it to be stretchy, so movement. So then once it's done and put together, you've got the zipper on here. You zip it, open it up, close it. What I like to do on these, for the ones I put together, and I'll unzip this so I can show you real quick here. And this Velcro is pretty strong stuff. It's industrial. I actually like to take craft foam to put it inside to make it a little softer. That's entirely up to you how you want to do it. Just makes it just a little bit softer. Some people have different size legs, so it may or may not work for the individual. Same thing here, put that in, and then I trim it. I'll trim it with a scissors or an X-Acto knife after the fact to get a nice good fit. So that'll come in here. Trim that up. Basically do the same thing here. Trim that up. There we go. And this one here, do the same thing. Trim that up. And then whether you put the Velcro in or not, what I do is I actually take a little piece of Velcro. Some of the suits out there have Velcro already sewn on to the legs, and this actually keeps the shins from moving up and down when you're wearing them. So it kind of keeps them in place. If you have them tight enough, you won't have to worry about that, but if for some reason they're loose, that keeps them so they stay together. And then basically you just put them back together. You can paint, go ahead and paint them. However, these are Deadpool 2 inspired ones, but you can, same thing with the Deadpool, regular Deadpool ones. You do your painting and your weathering, you're good to go. The ankle pieces are pretty self-explanatory. They have magnets in them. They just attached, and then you do the weathering. And then for these guys here, these actually get epoxied on to the sides here. So you can use, I use epoxy for these because they're exposed, so they're heavy duty. You can use super glue if you want. And basically do the same thing for the other side here, just like that. And you're pretty much good to go. Put them on, wear them, straight like this if you want, or paint them, which I would recommend painting. That's pretty much it. And there you go.